Dustin Starr here, coming to you from my backyard right here near Memphis, Tennessee, and episode 193 entitled You Tapped Out. Well, previously he did tap out, and it was Aaron Roberts one-on-one with the boss, Tim Bosby, for the Memphis Heritage Championship. And I thought it was off the hook. Just when you thought there was a new Memphis Heritage champion after the tap out in the center of the ring, then boom, Justin Case gets involved. Anyways, I am Dustin Starr. Welcome to the live reaction, episode 193. You tapped out. There's a whole lot to talk about, especially considering what was going on in the live chat. So now here we are at the live reaction. Today, I will also do a members-only Q&A and a members-only chat. If you haven't checked that out, go ahead. If you haven't joined, then I would do so now. It's only $3.99 a month. You get never-before-seen footage, emoji cons, and all sorts of stuff. And then also, we take you behind the scenes, and I'm allowed, I guess, to talk about stuff that I wouldn't typically talk about here on our regular YouTube channel. Anyway, Rico, what's going on? He says, yo, bro, what an episode. I thought so, too. I feel like every single episode has something crazy going down, especially this one. Gio Savage going down in the parking lot. Derek King and King Cobra talking about retirement in the parking lot. All sorts of stuff. LA Hustlers at the desk confronting Too Cool 2, wanting an opportunity at the tag team titles, and so much more. The episode was so loaded. So you pick. You tell me what you want to talk about, and here we go. Rico. So, Dustin, what do you think of WWE ID? All right. Well, I tell you what I think of WWE ID. I want you guys to go ahead and put in the comment who you think should have a WWE ID contract, and exactly what the WWE ID is it's WWE Independent Development, which is a system in place with select schools that are WWE ID schools and training centers, which includes Booker T, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Rikishi, and then Elite Wrestling. I guess the owner there trained at Kira Kowalski's with Triple H, so there's a relationship there. So those are the schools, but from my understanding, it looks like some folks are going to be signed to WWE ID contracts. So go ahead and follow them on Twitter, because they're teasing the first round of signees with up-close pictures on their face, getting the fans to guess. So anyway, this is huge. This is huge for independent wrestling. It looked like WWE in their press release and on WWE.com looks like they're trying to strengthen the ecosystem of independent wrestling, and Memphis Wrestling is the epitome of independent wrestling. And if you want to talk about television wrestling on the independent scene, I don't know if anybody's doing it quite like what we are doing it. Booker T is leading the way, and then everybody else is kind of following behind him. And you know, Booker T and Reality of Wrestling are tag team partners with Memphis Wrestling. So stay tuned. Big stuff coming on the independent wrestling scene, and hopefully Memphis Wrestling will help lead the charge with the WWE ID. But this is huge. This is awesome. This gives our talent an opportunity to be signed to WWE even without a developmental contract. There is all sorts of opportunity here, including the schools. You know, the Memphis Wrestling WrestleCenter. You could train with us. Go to WrestleCenter901.com. That's where Tim Bosby trained. That's where Mackenzie Morgan trained. All the way Ray, Big John Dalton, Ray Sanders. The list goes on and on and on. And we have the Stars of Tomorrow coming up, coached in part by Jonathan Gresham. That's coming up on Saturday, November the 30th, and it will air as episode 199 on our program. So lots to get to. If you have any questions for me to elaborate on WWE ID and how I understand it, just let me know here in the comments. But it looks like Eddie Kane, man, busting out a $5 donation. So let me heart that and go ahead and get to him. Hi, the new king of Memphis Wrestling, Dustin 5-star. Oh, yeah. Now, that's his comment. That's not what I say. And I really do appreciate that, Eddie Kane, man. But I don't know that we can go calling me the new king of Memphis. There's only one king here in Memphis as far as wrestling is concerned. Always has been and always will be. So big shout out and big respect to the king himself. But Eddie Kane, man, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. You made my day. Jeffrey says, great show, Dustin, as always. Thank you. Robert Dinkins says, Dustin, do you agree that WWE ID program will hurt the indie scene? Absolutely not. Complete opposite of that. Now, I guess it depends on where you are in the independent scene. If you're not where it's happening at, then it might hurt you. But if you are already plugged in and you want to be plugged in to what's going on, You got to get with Memphis Wrestling. You got to get with one of these WWE ID schools. And it's going to be harder than ever to get in because everybody's going to be wanting to get in. The demand is so high. Patrick Moore says, tell me more about WWE ID. Do you have a contingency plan if it doesn't work out? I mean, this is not something that's got to work out for me or work out for our crew. This is something that's got to work out with WWE. We will help them make it work out given any opportunity that we can. But this is a positive thing. So, guys, even if you hate WWE, you have to understand that talent, they have one goal. And most of them have only one goal, and that's WWE. Now, if it sprinkles down and you get an Impact Wrestling contract, if you get an AEW contract, Ring of Honor, that's cool too. I'm not, by any means, I'm not discouraging that, but I'm saying that the top of everybody's goal list is WWE. So that's just how it goes. Shamaria, we need TNA Knockout World Champion Masha Slamovich to come to Memphis Wrestling. It could happen. We've had Jordan Grace here. Stay tuned. Hey, Dustin, how's your weekend going so far? What's up, Brian? I'm doing very good. Enjoying some Memphis Wrestling. Be doing some editing here later. I had 3 Grizz games this week, actually 4, including the home opener. Then we had on Monday. Then we had back-to-back on Wednesday and Thursday, so busier than ever. Grizz games coming up next week as well. Of course, some of you guys know that I host the Memphis Grizzlies basketball games, each and every home game at FedEx Forum. Also serve as PA announcer for the developmental team, the Memphis Hustle, and that's coming up. I think this week we've got some sort of scrimmage, or it might be next week. I'll have to check the schedule. But yeah, doing good. Hope you are too, Brian. Rico says, I was thinking, what if Willow Nightingale took on C-Rex? Well, Willow Nightingale might not make a return to AEW if she steps in the ring with C-Rex. Let's talk about that for just a second, then I'll get caught up on all these comments. Is there anybody or anything that can stop the monster C-Rex? Because I think at this point, it's pretty obvious. Mackenzie Morgan can't do it. Makari Candy couldn't do it either. Who can take down this monster? Can anybody take down this monster? Or is it just plain and simply a wrap for the Memphis Wrestling women's division? C-Rex is the most dominant woman we've ever seen in the history of Memphis Wrestling. And if you want to argue that, go ahead, but it better be a strong argument. Bo says Draco values teamwork too much to do something to Savage to poor Gio. Come on, bro. These guys have been having it out since the Jay Lethal match and the Jonathan Gresham match. They've been having it out since before then. And now, Gio's laid out in the parking lot, apparently hit by a car, going to the ambulance, and you want to say that it's not Draco? Somebody better prove that to me. Brian says the boss should be signed. Bosby could be signed. What are the chances that Memphis gets to be a part of WWE ID? I think it's very, very highly likely that you'll be seeing Memphis Wrestling working with WWE ID. Now, there's nothing official, no paperwork signed or any kind of stuff like that, but stay tuned because like I said before, with all the feedback that we've gotten with our television program and how we produce it and how we edit it, big shout out to Terrence Ward and several other guys that I don't want to mention because of kayfabe and everything, but I just can't imagine that you won't be seeing something going down, Jeffrey, so stay tuned. Bo says, Simply Simon to NXT confirmed. They might appreciate his innocence more there. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Psycho Simon would not get along in WWE NXT, that's for sure. No way. He's a madman. He's absolutely insane. Do you think that they would put up with the fact that he ruined Christmas? He destroyed the WrestleCenter. He kidnapped Santa Claus. He attacks fans at ringside. Come on, man. No way. Rico says, in my opinion, Triple H cares about independent wrestling because if not, we wouldn't have guys like Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, etc. Yes, and all the NXT superstars from Rhea Ripley to, I mean, the list goes on and on. Carmelo Hayes recently. Gosh, I mean, they've all gone through the developmental system, and Triple H is putting them to work. Triple H is pushing them. And he's pushing them way more than Vince ever did. And let me just take a step back real quick. What's up, Jake Hudson? How are you? Take a step back real quick. The story has always been that Vince McMahon does not like independent wrestling. I have no idea why. He does not like independent wrestling, but Triple H loves independent wrestling, and that's why you'll see more of an emphasis and more of a focus on independent wrestling and independent wrestlers coming up. So I'm loving this. What's up, Jake? I'm doing good. Brian says Memphis #1. I agree. Rico says, Dustin, something in me feels that Anna Jay should be in Memphis Wrestling. I would love to book Anna Jay here in Memphis Wrestling. I remember seeing her first match. It was like a tryout on AEW. And me and Fred Cotto, 5-star fan cam Fred, were texting each other saying, man, this girl is a superstar. And sure enough, they turned right around and signed her right off the jump. Jake says, Dustin, did you see that I had Brett Michaels on my podcast months ago? The gun show Brett Michaels because Dustin Bones from Guns, and I'm not sure. I didn't see that, Jake, but I'll be on lookout for it. Gun show's the man. Boom. Shamaria said, we need more Sue Young at Memphis Wrestling. Stay tuned. Sue Young is not 100% cleared to wrestle. That's why you didn't see her in a whole lot of stuff on our Halloween Spooktacular, just kind of a cameo appearance that I loved, by the way. But stay tuned. We'll have more Sue Young pretty soon. Patrick Moore says, I'm iffy because they tried that in the United Kingdom and it nearly wiped out the scene there. So I hope you have a contingency plan. There's no contingency plan, Patrick. I don't even know what you're talking about. This is not our plan. This is WWE's plan. So maybe they have a contingency plan. And I'm not sure why you guys think that what happened in the United Kingdom is so bad. Let me tell you, independent wrestling scene, especially here in the Mid-South, is not good. Nobody's drawing crowds. Nobody has a television show. Nobody has a reach or an audience except for Memphis Wrestling. And that's not cap. You can go back and check it out. It's most of these analytics are public knowledge. Go to the YouTube pages of some of the other local companies around and look at their total viewership. Look at ours. Ours is nearly 15 million at this point. Lifetime, and we're over the 3.5 million mark for 2024, which is already beat or close to beating 2023, and we still have a lot going on here in Memphis Wrestling. So not sure why you guys are so down on that, but this is huge. And wipe it out. I mean, how can you wipe out a successful independent wrestling scene if the independent wrestling scene is not really that successful? I mean, you've got Reality of Wrestling, they're doing well. Of course, the Nightmare Factory is doing well. The ones that I mentioned are doing very well, but there's a lot of other ones that aren't. They go into business and go out of business. I mean, literally at the snap of a finger. Keith says, and that's United Wrestling Network as well. Even they're struggling on the independent scene. Obviously, haven't run a live event in over a year. I know they do have something coming up in New York, and I'm not throwing shade. I'm just telling you the facts. They have something coming up in New York, and it's not a television taping. It's like a house show. So, independent wrestling's not necessarily, I mean, it is doing well, but not all of them are on fire. Trust me when I tell you. So don't think that this WWE idea is going to wipe anything out. It's going to make it tougher, make it stronger, make it better. Was that Psycho Simon in the background when King Cobra talked to Derek King? Keith, it was. Psycho Simon was in the background. Now, I don't know if that ties up into the Draco scene where we think it was Draco, but maybe it was Psycho Simon. But there's definitely something going on out there with Psycho Simon, perhaps King Cobra and Derek King, and then Gio and Draco all in the parking lot. So stay tuned as that story develops. Rico says, Dustin, I watched Danhausen on Glory Pro Wrestling, and next episode, Ricky Starks will be on there. I would love to have Ricky freaking Starks on Memphis Wrestling. Thank you, Jake, for the like and the share. Robert says, Patrick, WWE always wanted a monopoly. I don't know how this is monopolizing anything because any of these companies can do the same exact thing. Patrick says MLW2. What about MLW? Willie says Cassandra Golden needs to get back to defeat C-Rex. Man, I don't know. I would love to see it. I would love to see Cassandra Golden versus C-Rex. Jose says Johnny Bravo. Well, hey, I'll take that. Could we see John Morrison in Memphis Wrestling? Yeah, there's been conversations with John Morrison in Memphis Wrestling. Eddie Kane, Maine, Nia Jax can take down C-Rex. Well, unfortunately, Nia Jax is signed to an exclusive contract with WWE. Shamaria, yeah, Nia Jax. Well, I'd love to see that, trust me. Rob says, I saw Dustin 5-star on a new over-the-air channel here at Gulf Sports Channel. The channel covers 6 states, new folks to see him. Hey, man, I appreciate that. I'm going to keep doing those hosting duties for United Wrestling Network and those reruns for as long as they'll let me. Who is a real headache? Maybe Makari can take C-Rex if she knew how to use her friendship with Jay Webb to her advantage. Well, we saw in the Halloween Spooktacular that not only did C-Rex crush Makari, but C-Rex also crushed Jay Webb as well. Yeah, I'd like to see Rhea Ripley versus C-Rex. Rico says the Hurt Business reunites in AEW. I'm a fan of all those guys, but I just don't know if you should rehash something that already didn't work previously. Robert says, Dustin, do you believe the rumors that ROH got a TV deal? No, I don't believe anything until I actually see it. So when I see Ring of Honor on television, then I will believe that they have a TV deal. Rico says, awesome moment, as I'm a Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin fan. I am too. I love both those guys. Hairdo on point, buddy, says Old School Dave. Yeah, buddy, just for you, man. Got a little bit of gray in there today, though. He'd get fired in 24 hours. I'm not sure who we're talking about, Ark. DDT could take on C-Rex if she brought a tire iron to the ring. I'd love to see DDT versus C-Rex. You imagine that match has got to happen at some point. Rico says, Dustin, who do you think will win this year's Royal Rumble? I think it's going to be John Cena, and if not, then they made the wrong choice. Rob says, great show today. Thank you, brother. Richard is here. Is Derek King done with wrestling? Derek King has stated on our program that he is finished with his in-ring wrestling career. Now, stay tuned because we are shooting a sit-down interview where we'll hear it straight from Derek King's mouth. We'll get all the juicy details, and I imagine that we would pay tribute, respect, and honor the career of Derek King at some point coming very, very soon. So stay tuned. Derek King is done with his in-ring wrestling. He said he had a couple of loose ends to tie up, and I imagine that we'll see one last match. That's what I imagine. Rico says, with Dustin book luchadors? Yes, actually coming up in Little Rock in 2025. We'll be out at the Arkansas Travelers baseball team again, and we will have a Lucha Libre night. We have a wrestling night and a lucha night coming up. Let me get caught up here. Rico, I want to see Zay Washington take on his former tag team partner. I think there's still unfinished business between those two. I agree, man. I would love to see Zay Washington and Aaron Roberts fight it out. Richard says wrestling here in Memphis is not the same like back in the day. No, arguably it's better because you have the power of social media. So previously, in all the different renditions of Memphis wrestling, it was only television, and that was it. And there wasn't a lot of syndication. So if you didn't live in Memphis, you didn't get to see it. Also, there was nobody that was technologically savvy enough to post any of this stuff to social medias or YouTubes or anything other than fans. So now you can watch it from all over the planet. You can watch it anywhere in the world. You can even watch it live, and you can do a live reaction. You can interact with the fans like never before. So it's not the same that it used to be, but thank God it's not the same that it used to be, Richard. Bo says, is there a security camera set up in the parking lot? I feel like there should be one. There is a Sky Cop cam out in that parking lot, and that's a really good point, Bo. We should look up that Sky Cop footage. And just so you guys know, at the WrestleCenter, that Sky Cop cam footage is running all the time. Rob, he says, was Simon calling out Lil Chris or Briar Stinkerhorn? Oh my gosh, look at you. You can tell you've watched every episode. Ken Terminated says, hi, Dustin, Starr, and my wrestling friends. What's up, Ken Terminated? Hit me up with some questions. I'm trying to get caught up real quick. Bo says, Simon probably just wants to wish DK the best on his retirement. Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what Psycho Simon wants to do. Keith says, how would you bet for Tyson versus Paul? If Mike Tyson does not knock out Jake Paul, then Mike Tyson's legacy is over. Patrick says, would you want any of your wrestlers in MLW? Yeah, perhaps. Why not? I think MLW is a great program. Jamie Davis, is the Yeet Gang a one-time thing? The Yeet Gang? What is the Yeet Gang? I love this. What's up, Jamie? King Jamie in the house. Rugged Peggy Russell's here. What's up, Dustin? Looking great, fella. Thank you so much. Not Peggy. Rugged Reggie Russell. Try saying that 3 times real fast. Welcome to the live reaction. Shamaria, Aaron Roberts a headache. You have no idea. Jessica Havoc or Taya Valkyrie could take down C-Rex. I don't know about that, but I'd love to see them try. And there's an Athena comment. Rico, LA Hustlers always got to stick their noses where they don't belong. They did it again today. They are looking for a Memphis Wrestling Tag Team title match, and I've never known Too Cool 2 to back down from anybody. Thoughts on Baron Corbin entering free agency? Hey, man, I think Baron Corbin is one of those guys that probably, he went from the NFL to WWE, so I don't even know if he's going to have an independent wrestling career, but if he does, I'd love to see him stop by Memphis, Tennessee. Speaking of that, I'd love to see JBL come give somebody a clothesline from hell as well. What do you guys think? Rico says, what makes them think they deserve a tag team title match? Well, they beat Derek King and Ray Sanders, and they've been on a little bit of a roll, the LA Hustlers are, so I figured that they should get a title shot, whether I like them or not. Bobby Reyes says, hello, how are you? I'm doing great, man. Patrick says, not going to lie, I'm surprised UWN is struggling. I always like the wrestling from them, so wondering why it went dark. That's a thing for David Marquez. Business is not good right now, and he's doing his best to try to get it back. And it's just not happening at this point. So it's very hard. It's extremely difficult. You guys would have, your head would spin if I told you all the things that we have to go through. Ken Terminated. I love to see Indy Hartwell in Memphis. Me too. It'll be 90 days from now, though. Rico says, Dustin, More than a Halloween spooktacular and Ground City Rumble, could we see more premium events on the program? All right, so we've got the Stars of Tomorrow, which is a special that's coming up. We have Milestone 200. Our 200th episode is coming up. That's a big one. We've got the Grind City Rumble coming up. Then we've got the Cobra Cup coming up. And then we've got super bouts. We've got a lot of very special programming coming up that has a lot at stake. And I'll tell you right now, Milestone 200 is going to be off the chain. There's going to be some stuff going down that has never, ever happened in the history of Memphis wrestling, past, present, or future. Shamaria says, when Sue Young recovers from her injury, please tell her I love her and God bless her and her family and friends and stay safe. I sure will. Sue Young's been a friend of mine for a long, long time. Willie says Simon's calling out the stinker horns. I don't know about that. Ken terminated. Sue Young's a great zombie wrestler. Keith says Mackenzie Morgan will be ready for C-Rex. She'll get back the women's championship. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Mackenzie Morgan can come back for being crushed not once, but twice in pretty dominant fashion from the big woman C-Rex. Can't wait for Bosby versus Gresham. That's going down live Saturday, November 30th on the Stars of Tomorrow. It will broadcast as episode 199. Jamie says Jay, Jimmy, and Rowan are the Yeet Gang. Okay, I thought that was the Bloodline, brother. Don't spoil it. If you bring Morrison in, you need to bring Taya as well. I agree. Rob says, I love Too Cool driving Brad Stinkerhorn through the mat. I guess that's the Grind Buster. Rugged Reggie Russell, Memphis Wrestling, the place to be. I can't say that. Blank everything else. I agree with that. How can I get booked to wrestle? Bobby, go to memphiswrestling.tv and send a message. It's hard to get in, though, brother. I'll warn you of that. Ken Terminated is here. Let's see. What was his point that he made? Jeffrey Morrison. I think you could book Morrison without Taya, but I'd like to have them both as well. Shamaria says, Nixie XS, give me a headache. She knows is not usually the Memphis Wrestling Women's Champion. C-Rex is the rightful Memphis Wrestling Women's Champion. There's an argument for you as well. Milestone 200 is going to be the greatest episode. You have no idea, Eddie K-Man. I hope you get your ticket for November 17th because it's going down and it's going to make history. Rico says, Dustin, if you remember that there was a wrestler named Bryant Starr on the chat, if you can find his work on Entertainment Battleground Wrestling. No, I don't remember that name. Jason Freeman, Memphis Wrestling with a big muscle and 100%. Oh, yeah. Vernon, can Memphis Wrestling get the UWA World Heavyweight Champion and Tag Team titles? I don't even know what the UWA is, so probably not. Sorry. Rico says EPW Pro for short on YouTube. Not sure what that means, but okay. Keith says, what about Ryan Namath accusing his own brother attacking Hendry after the Impact Tag Team match? I'd love to have Dolph Ziggler here. That'd be great. I'm not sure what XARKX is talking about, but all right. Got just a couple of more minutes here. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything regarding today's episode or episodes moving forward, tickets, t-shirts, you name it, you can get it all at memphiswrestling.tv. Go ahead and put those in the comments real quick. If you're watching this and I'm no longer live, you can do the same thing. Put your questions and stuff in the comments, and I'll go back and do my best about responding to each and every one of those. Also coming up here in just a bit, I would imagine about 30 minutes or so. Actually, let's go ahead and put a time on it. How about 2 p.m.? We'll do a members only live chat. If you guys have not joined members only, I would highly encourage you to do so. There's all sorts of stories, photos, polls, behind the scenes footage, all sorts of behind the scenes discussion that you probably never ever expected. For instance, if somebody's no longer with Memphis Wrestling, there's always a reason why. So all that's being discussed in our members only. So all you have to do is hit the join button. It's only $3.99 a month. And then also you get all these custom emojis, and they're super duper cool. Let's see. Let me get caught up real quick. There's a couple that came in. UWN, that's possibly, Patrick says, Kathy Vernon, you might have meant UWN. That's where you can see Bryant Starr's matches. Okay, I don't know who that is. Sorry. Bo says, can't we just acknowledge that Nixie and C-Rex have the healthiest friendship in Memphis Wrestling? Well, I'll tell you what. Nixie says that C-Rex was going to crush the champion and take the title and hand it over to her. And guess what happened? She did it. And now Nixie is carrying that Memphis Wrestling Championship like it's her own. So I would have to agree with you. Those two are tight, thick as thieves right now. Rico says there's some other guys that wrestle there too. Rico, it's very hard to get into Memphis Wrestling. I can tell you that right now. Savannah Evans versus C-Rex. I'm not sure who Savannah Evans is. Simon is unstable and demented. No, thank you. I agree. 2 o'clock sounds good for Eddie Kane, man. So we'll make it 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Keith says Van Vicious hasn't been seen for a while. Probably a good thing. I just talked about Van Vicious on our members Q&A that was posted up yesterday. So you guys can check that out. Van Vicious. Still on a set somewhere in Hollywood? Jeffrey says that's 3 o'clock Eastern. Okay. Robert says episode 200. We'll have to work hard to beat episode 100. Yeah, episode 150 was good too. Do Memphis Wrestling have a light title? No, we do not have a lightweight title. Cook says he's trying to get that members only. There's a button for it, Cook. I promise there's a button for it. Those of you who do not see the button, it might be on your desktop. Got to get you in that members only. Rico says, I love discovering other wrestling programs, especially through YouTube, and I wish other promotions would use that platform. Rico, unfortunately, I don't think they know how. That's been a big thing for a lot of wrestling companies throughout the years, the old school mentality. Jamie Davis, who's the newer security wrestler? Muscles, dark hair, and beard. Said he was going to wrestle on the 30th. Stay tuned, Jamie Davis. Oh, yeah. I guess you're going to see him first and foremost on the 30th. Get those tickets at memphiswrestling.tv. Savannah Evans wrestles for TNA. Okay, I'll have to check her out. I meet the gun show last week. He was awesome. Very, very cool, Jason. We appreciate that. Hope to see you on November 17th. Shamaria says, you look good for your age. Dustin, what is that supposed to mean? I look good for my age. How old am I? Jeez. Will Van win the Heritage title or an Oscar first? That's a poll next week's show. Man, those security guards need to protect themselves. That's exactly right. Security guard Jaden got choke slammed or Uranage suplexed by Aaron Roberts. All he was trying to do is keep law and order at the ringside area. 41. Yes, I just turned 42. I'm not sure what that means that I look good for my age, but thank you so much. All right, guys, I got about 2 minutes and 45 seconds left on this bad boy. Episode 193 was awesome. Who's Dustin's favorite referee? Favorite referee of all time? I like Rod Zapata's aggressiveness as a referee. And then, oh gosh, I'm the worst with referees' names. There's a couple others. I love Charles Robinson, little Nate. He's always done a great job. Jamie says, hell, I must be Asian. Dustin's a youngin'. Yeah, it threw me off, brother. Patrick says, ever thought about bringing in Tito and Shane Haste or Tito and Shay as UWN tag team titles? I'm not sure who that is. You got to give me full names on there, Patrick. But no, I have not thought about it. Love you, Dustin Starr. Thank you, Shamari. I appreciate it. Mike Chioda. I like Mike Chioda. I think Earl Hebner was a terrible referee. All the Hebners were not very good referees. You heard it here first. Dustin's always looked like a boss. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know about that. Keith says, last 2 times I've seen Butterbean was against Mark Marrow at DX's first pay-per-view against Mark Marrow in a boxing match, secondly on Hulk Hogan's Championship Wrestling. Butterbean will be in the house on November 17th. Also, Milestone 200 on the 17th. Cook says Frank Morrell. Frank Morrell, historic Memphis wrestling referee. And let me tell you right now, he was slow as molasses. Rico, Charles Robinson, yep. Teddy Long was a good referee, but I like Teddy as a different character. Teddy says, is Sister Jennifer in PWE? I think Sister Jennifer might be in jail. Google her. Willie says, Dustin, what was your favorite match you wrestled in? Oh, man. It had to be something against Derek King. That's all I got to say. Got to be something against Derek King. We had so many great matches. Is C-Rex going to be on Stars of Tomorrow? Man, I hope not, because that would mean that somebody's getting their ass whooped on Stars of Tomorrow by C-Rex. So stay tuned. C-Rex could be. Shamari says, I miss New Jack. God rest his soul. Wasn't a New Jack fan. I'm not even going to pretend to be. Very dangerous individual. That's an ongoing joke on Grind City Wrestling, by the way. And of course, we talked about WWE ID on Grind City Wrestling. Go check that out on YouTube. It's Grind City Media on YouTube. And there's a whole folder full of great interviews and podcasts from Grind City Wrestling, myself and Devin Walker Bebe hosting. Patrick says, Bad Dude Tito and Shea Cabrera. Okay. And Shane Haste were UWN Tag Team Champions. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Shane Haste. Of course, I know Bad Dude Tito. I love him. Shea Cabrera as well. I was a fan of his masked character Rogelio. But no, I have not thought about bringing those guys in. Big shout out to Memphis Crew from Dublin, Ireland. Rugged Reggie Russell, thank you so much. Rico says, as always, 5 stars on all the shows. Oh, yeah. Thank you, brother. Dangerous Danny Davis. He joined the Hart Foundation when they beat the British Bulldogs for the WWE Tag Team titles. Shamiri says, we miss Bray Wyatt. All right. Well, that's all the time I got. Take care, Rico. Dustin, do you watch NWA JCP Wrestling? No, I do not. I don't even know what that is. So, I'm out of the loop. Just been so busy. But I do know what Memphis Wrestling is. I know what WWE ID is. I know all the stuff that we talk about. MKZ's my favorite wrestler. Hope she beats her soon. Don't know if it's going to happen, man. That is a huge size differential. Actually, for everybody, not just MKZ, but C-Rex is just so big, so mean, so massive, so strong. Like not a care in the world. How do you stop somebody who just doesn't care? And it's so big and so nasty. And I'll leave you with that. I am Dustin Starr. This is our live reaction for 193. I'll see you at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Aaron Roberts here in the chat. How do you beat a 420-pound monster like Aaron Roberts as well? Tim Bosby was very, very close. Had you tapping out, Aaron. But I guess that's why you have Justin Case at ringside. Joe Kazana. I'm not sure who that is either. Sorry, Patrick. I guess I watch different wrestling than what you watch. Anyways, I am Dustin Starr. This was the live reaction to episode 193. You tapped out. Well, he didn't today. He was victorious and still Memphis Heritage Champion, the problem Aaron Roberts. I am Dustin Starr saying thank you so much. And so long, everybody. And I'll see you at bell time. Oh, yeah. Thank you guys for stopping in. See ya at the members only. I want to see you there too, Patrick. Members only.